Hello, everyone. I must welcome you all to the webinar series, Future You, Set Your Career Compass Right with Experts Insights. And I'm Kalyani, your host for this webinar. So in this session, our topic is how to become a business analyst. And we will talk about the career trajectory of the panelists who have joined us today, the different opportunities in data science and business analytics, where to begin a career in business analytics and data science, internships, certifications, how to boost your profile, what are the skill sets that the hiring committee looks at for in a candidate. So let's welcome our speaker. We have Puneet Vashisht. He's a data scientist at WorldQuant, and he's an alumnus of PGDBA, jointly offered by IIM Calcutta, IIT Kharagpur, ISI Kolkata. He has a bachelor's degree from IIT Kharagpur in BTech. And prior to WorldQuant, he has worked in top firms such as Goldman Sachs and MasterCard. Welcome, Puneet Vashisht, and thank you so much for being here today for this session. So when did you first decide that you want to get into data science and business analytics? Was it pre-PGDBA, or was it afterwards that you finally decided that, okay, this is what your field, your career path will be? And
so when did I first decide? Interesting. So right after my undergraduation, I joined a startup. Now startup offers you, the beauty of joining a startup, it offers you multitude of opportunities to work into different departments, to look the business from different angles. That's when I started working as a data science domain, and that's where I got interested into data science as a full um, career path. So then, and in that startup I worked for close to 3 years, worked with different clients, worked with different kind of data sets, and that's when all the data science was also evolving a lot. So obviously the data science earlier was there, but then for the last decade, due to the competition, power has increased, and then that's like contributed a lot to the increase in the algorithms or advancements into this field. And that's when I was really interested into this, and I did some analytics there. I had a role as a data scientist there, but that's when I started looking for more opportunities or more in academic knowledge into this field, and that's when I decided to join PGDBA.
Okay. So can you talk about, since you were a data scientist before PGDBA, and then and now also, so and you were also working as a data scientist at MasterCard. So WorldQuant, MasterCard, and the role before PGDBA, how different are all those within the purview or the perimeters of within the premises of data science, the roles and responsibilities? Yeah.
So in terms of roles and responsibilities at a startup like Easy Rewards, I was working mostly into customer analytics. So it was mostly into one domain that I was working with. So all the data analytics part. So one thing I want to like specify here is that data science is like can be applied into multiple fields or multiple domains, but your domain knowledge is also important. So you need to have a strong domain knowledge for to be a good data scientist. That's where when I joined PGDBA, within PGDBA you learn a lot around different domains. So because you're doing all kinds of projects into different domains, be it in the banking, be it the fintech, be it the healthcare. So all these domains you at least do some kind of problem statements or case study, and then that gives you a broader idea like how the data science can be applied into different domains. Now after that, it's your choice, like in which domain you want to specialize your career further. And
Okay.
that's when I decided to specialize my career into finance and fintech kind of roles, and that's
Hmm.
where my career path is, from Mastercard to Goldman to WorldQuant. So
Hmm.
all I would say that in terms of roles and responsibilities, it's pretty much same, but you get a more deeper domain knowledge.
Okay. Okay. So, uh, okay, help me understand this then. So the data science role that you had before PGDBA
Mhm.
and after that, so did how exactly did the PGDBA played a role in your career post that, uh, in terms of learning or in terms of jobs, in terms of roles? Yeah.
Mhm. So PGDBA, I'll just give a background of PGDBA, right? So PGDBA is a course jointly offered by IIM Calcutta, ISI Kolkata, and IIT
Mm.
Kharagpur.
Mm.
Now, there is a reason why these three institutes thought and then combined, like they came together and set up this course. The reason is very specific, that for to become a data scientist,
Mm.
it's not that you need to be expertise in technical aspects only. You need to have
Okay.
expertise in business, you need to have expertise in statistics, and you need to have expertise in technology.
Okay.
Combine these three, right? And these three are offered by, like, for example, management experience by IIM Calcutta, statistics experience by
Mm.
ISI Kolkata, and technology related by
Mm.
IIT Kharagpur. Now
Mm.
combine these three gives you a good trajectory for the data science, and that's why like as a PGDBA, or when I joined the PGDBA, and that's what you get when you join a course like PGDBA. Like you get expertise in all these three fields.
Okay.
Now before PGDBA, my roles, like my career was mostly into doing some kind of descriptive analysis or to a particular domain. But
Okay.
after PGDBA, I get more knowledge, I get more in-depth knowledge around the algorithms, around the statistics. And
Mm.
then now think of it as a, let's say, to give an analogy, right? So think of this as a doctor who is having a knowledge of all kind of diseases, but based on the symptoms, they diagnose that, right? So
Okay.
that's
Mm.
how, but the knowledge across all the like diseases or all the symptoms is required, and that's what PGDBA gives you. So it gives you knowledge across all kind of data sets, what kind of nuances are there, what kind
Mm.
of methods are there, and then you pick and choose and apply, like, okay, this kind of method can work in this kind of problem statement, and that's how you work. um, in terms of the roles after PGDBA, so the basic notion of the PGDBA program I clarified. Now, the another notion was to give, to have a middle management kind of layer
Mm.
between into the data science domain. So that's where, like, the PGDBA's vision was to create middle managers who are good with the data science, and then they can manage other people across the data domain. And
Okay.
that's how your roles and responsibility increase, because you are now into the middle management,
Mm.
managing other people, or managing end-to-end data science projects.
Mm.
So
Okay. Okay. Mm. So there's a question. It's also my question: is data analyst and business analyst interrelated? Obviously, they are, because I actually did a chat GPT yesterday, and yeah, I found like tons of stuff on that. But yeah, it would be nice if you can just take an example and tell us how it's interrelated and how different these are from each other.
interesting you mentioned chat GPT,
Yeah.
but let's set that aside. So in
Yeah.
terms of data analyst and a business analyst, obviously those two are related.
Mm.
um, but the data analyst is more closer to the data. When I say closer to the data, they are more hands-on on the data part. They
Mm.
would be doing a lot of data pulling activities, data cleaning, data gathering,
Mm.
all those activities on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
Whereas the business analyst is more closer to the business. They would be identifying the problems into the business and then try to solve those problems from the analytics perspective. So
Okay.
there is a like fine line between the two, because obviously data analyst can also give solutions to the business, and business analyst can also work like the data part and pull up the data and query the data part.
Mm.
But ideally, in some companies these two terms are interchangeable, but in some companies you will see that there are two different roles. Where there are two different roles, the data analyst would be working mostly on the data part, business analyst is collaborating with the business stakeholders to get
Okay.
more into the business insights.
Okay. And can a data scientist become somebody, who is so okay? Let me rephrase the question. How much of uh, data science work brings in directly the business solutions for a company,
Okay,
minus
so
the business analytics bit, if you take it like that? Yeah.
okay,
Hmm.
so to make this you understand more about this, I
Hmm.
would just let's say I would just get more deeper into the analytics part. So when
Okay.
you see as analytics as an umbrella, right, you see there are three kinds of analytics that we specifically talk about.
Yeah.
One is descriptive analytics, where you just find facts based on the data.
Hmm.
You would say that, okay, for example, Zomato is doing 100,000 orders per day, and this is the geographic distribution of all the orders, right?
Hmm.
And this is the time when the orders peak up, this is the time when like orders are minimum on a
Hmm.
daily basis. So
Hmm.
all these are descriptive analytics. You are just taking the data and you are describing it in different dimensions. When I say
Okay.
dimensions, it's just like customers or geographies and all. uh,
Okay.
now, this is one part of analytics which is important. Obviously, with a lot of data, you need to describe your data so that then you can take some kind of insights from the descriptive analytics.
Okay.
Uh, Once the descriptive analytics is done, then you try to predict. The other vertical is predictive analytics,
Okay.
where you try to predict what are the trends. So based on the descriptive analytics, you say that, okay, the orders are maximum in around 12 to 2 p.m.
Hmm.
And these are the trends. So you
Hmm.
try to predict how many orders you'll get, how many orders a particular restaurant will get, so that you can take some business decisions, like all like your logistics should be optimized for this route because you'll get a lot many orders in next 2 hours for this route.
Okay.
uh, that comes in predictive analytics. And then the final part is the prescriptive, which
Hmm.
is the bread and butter, or which is the core solution you are requiring for any business, which is like you need to prescribe so that business do well. So you need to give recommendations to the business so that business grow further. So you have done
Okay.
the descriptive part, you have done the predictive part, but how you are utilizing that, that
Hmm.
comes into the prescriptive part. Now
Okay.
the whole objective of data science field is to get to this prescriptive bit, right? And that's where the data scientist role is important. So data scientists should be able to drive the business growth, should be able to give a good recommendations to the business. It's not that a model is good, but the model should produce the value vis-a-vis the current process or the status quo.
Okay.
That's where the data science is important.
Hmm.
Data analyst, business analyst, or
Hmm.
all these roles are basically driving that. So data analyst would be mostly associated with the descriptive part. Business
Okay.
analyst would be mostly associated with the prescriptive part. Predictive part is mostly done with by the data scientists.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, as a data scientist at WorldQuant, because I need more examples to really understand it, how much of your role is directly impacting business solutions?
Okay.
Yeah.
So and particularly hedge funds, right? So
Yeah.
data science, and particularly hedge funds or WorldQuant kind of scenarios,
Mm,
the business impact is the of utmost importance, right?
mm,
Because you someone has to directly make a P&L impact,
mm,
and that's how the firm will survive, and that's how you will also survive. So it's a
mm.
very I would say it's very competitive landscape in terms of hedge funds or any kind of HFT firms.
Correct.
So as a data scientist, you need to give them a PNL impact, direct PNL impact. And that's
Okay.
what we do at WorldQuant. So we analyze a lot of trends in the market already. We
Mm,
analyze a lot of factors that might impact the market or might impact some stock. And then
mm.
we take, analyze, and then build predictive models so that we can predict the future with some certainty or some variance in the predictions. And
Okay.
that's what like the role is. So it's a, I would say it's directly impacting the business. There's no
Mm,
middle ground there. You
mm.
cannot have, and you are not optimizing for customer experience, you are not optimizing for anything, you are optimizing directly the P&L or the profit of the company.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So tell us more about where all say for example, can a data scientist get job in the stock market like BSc or NSC, where all they can get a taste of how data science works, how business analytics works. And this is for the people, who would like to get into this field. And before even doing a course and all that, is there somewhere that they can get an idea at least, of how exactly, just to test the waters, how exactly it works, where to begin in this
Okay.
field? Yeah.
Um,
Apart from doing the certifications and all, we will be talking about that as well. Yeah.
right.
Hmm.
Oh, the first thing I always recommend anyone or I talk about is,
Hmm.
first thing is to, in whichever company you are working in,
Hmm.
or even if you're a student, in whichever department you are working in, whichever field you are working in,
Hmm.
there would definitely be data associated within that field or within that company, right? So you would
Okay.
definitely see some kind of data on a daily basis.
Hmm.
Now, the starting point would be to analyze that data.
Okay.
You can analyze it in any tool you want, be it Excel, be it any other programmatic tool, be it any visualization tools,
Hmm.
right? So you can analyze in any of the tools, but try
Okay.
to understand what is going on, and that's what will give you some sense like whether you want to be into this field or not, into data
Okay.
science. To give
Hmm.
you an example,
Hmm.
let's say you're working in IMS, right? So you
Hmm.
get a lot of these webinars, and then you get a lot of data around who has seen the webinar from the Google Analytics or any other tool you are using, right?
Hmm.
Now, based on this data, you can obviously, there are a few things you already know, right? For example, you know that YouTube might get you more viewers
Hmm.
than LinkedIn, or Facebook is not a good channel for these kind of. So all these,
Hmm.
I'm just
Hmm.
hypothetically speaking,
Correct. Yeah. Hmm.
but you have data. Try to
Hmm.
prove those hypotheses with respect to the data, and that's where you would see that, okay, are you really interested into this kind of field, whether you
Okay.
want to dig more into this field,
Hmm.
and this is where I'm interested into, and this is what I want to do. And
Okay.
that's where people can start. They can
Hmm.
start with the data. In
Hmm.
fact, if they don't get any data, right, there are a lot many other websites. For example, Kaggle
Hmm.
provides
Hmm.
open source data sets
Okay.
to
Hmm.
everyone, and they have data sets in every domain. So you can just take the raw data, like get your hands dirty, do that
Hmm.
analytics, and
Okay.
you'll obviously understand how the you are making value or giving value to that data, or
Okay.
getting insights from that data.
Okay.
But that's the first step to do.
Okay. But is there a way for them to maybe get internships or something? Also, okay, you already had you were from IIT Kharagpur with BTech. What about people, who are not from the IITs? What about people, who are not even from the science stream? What if, they are from commerce, some other background, but are generally interested in this field and probably have good, interpretation skills, maybe from, people who can interpret good, well from data. So
Mhm.
where should they start? And what about those people with commerce and other backgrounds? Is there any opportunity for them to get into this field? And if yes, then how?
I mean, again, I would go back to that, right? You
Huh.
have in any domain, be it commerce or be it any kind of other domain,
Mm,
you will definitely work with data. Like in today's world, no field works without data, right? So
mm,
there is no intuition-based decisions. People are moving away from that and
mm,
working with the data.
mm.
And there are a lot of open source data sets that they can also work with. Uh,
Okay.
People from different background, like
Mm,
not from engineering background but from commerce or any other
mm.
background, can get into this data science domain. All they need to do is like prove that they are really interested into this, and they have worked a few projects. Means
Okay.
they can work on any project related to their field.
Mm.
This is what they would be looking for.
Okay. Okay, you were talking about projects. Now, uh, so where should somebody begin in this field? Um, is there internships that students, most of our attendees are people, who are probably taking the PGDBA or probably taking CAT. So yeah, where can they start? Um,
Mhm.
is there
So
internships? How do you apply for these internships? And since they have not really worked, maybe in places where they are using a lot of, I mean, they're directly in any of these fields. So how do they get those projects? How do they approach a firm for internships?
yes, so before approaching for any kind of internship, what
Mm,
like anyone or I used to do is like
mm,
build my profile,
mm.
build my resume.
Okay.
To build that resume, you need to go with some kind of projects. Now, I'm not talking of a long projects, but a
Mm,
shorter projects, probably a week or two that would take. Kaggle
okay.
is one thing, Analytics Vidya is another platform, HackerRank is another platform.
Mm,
Now, the beauty of all these platforms is that you get to learn a lot from the peers. So there are a lot of peers who would be participating in these all these competitions and
mm,
basically giving you idea from the basics, like this is how you analyze your data, this is what people are looking for. So there are many discussion forums. So that's the first step they one has to do it.
okay.
Coming back to the question of doing specific internships, so a lot many companies now, a lot many startups are looking for roles in data science. So they give you like 1 or 2 months, or it spans from 1 to 2 months to 6 months of internship.
Okay.
They provide you that. LinkedIn is one good source of applying to internship.
Mm,
There are upcoming startups, for example, Internshala or other. Those can give you a good amount of like good, uh, I would say, links to apply to an internship.
okay.
Um, Finally, I think you can nowadays you can ask ChatGPT where
Mm,
to apply for an internship, and it will
mm.
also give you good results based on the
Probably, yeah.
internet. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but
There's a yeah, yeah. You were saying
no,
something.
so
Hmm.
yeah, but all I would need is that you should first build your resume,
Hmm.
try to show the recruiter that you are really interested into this, you have
Hmm.
done already some project into this, right?
Hmm.
So, and build
Okay.
a portfolio.
So, since we are talking about profile, can you give a few tips on how do they build their profile so that and also from that point of view, that what are the recruiters looking for in a candidate when they're coming in a campus? And this could be even for people who are, who are in their bachelors, who are doing their undergraduation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
In terms of building the profile,
Hmm.
the first thing is that you figure out which domain you want your career to be in,
Hmm.
be it healthcare, be it HFT, be it fintech,
Okay.
be it banking domain, or
Hmm.
any consulting domain. So that's the
Okay.
first step you should take. Like, this
Okay.
is the domain that I want my career to grow.
Hmm.
The second step would be then find out one or two projects within that domain.
Hmm.
Again, you will find a lot many problem statements. So every domain has put up open problem statements on some platform. So, for example, hedge funds also have put up some problems, banking also has some problems that they
Hmm.
have put up on platforms, open platforms.
Okay.
They have given you data to work on. So that's where the second step would be to get that data, get analyze that data.
Hmm.
Now, for analysis, you would need to learn bit more tools, for example
Hmm.
Python, R, or any other tool. Or maybe for the visualization perspective, you need to learn Tableau, right, or
Hmm.
Power BI. So
Okay.
those are that you can learn from any open source platform. But
Hmm.
that's where the you need to build for the project, you need to complete that project. um, that is the second step. So when a recruiter looks that, okay, he has worked into this domain, he has some knowledge into this domain, then obviously your chances of getting shortlist is higher. The third thing, obviously, when you get into a recruitment or get into an interview, right, now all these things, profile building will help you getting the interview. But
Okay.
once you are into an interview, uh,
Hmm.
they are probably looking for your problem solving skills, or they would be discussing around the project that you have already done, like
Okay.
asking you questions, why you did this, why not other things, right?
Hmm.
So or obviously your basic analytical abilities. So those are the things that people look for. To build upon that, to prepare for those kind of skills,
Hmm.
I would again suggest go through, like, people might be preparing for CAT. That's a good
Hmm.
point.
Hmm.
You can go through all those analytical questions, or get those skills sorted out.
So, okay, let's now take a question. I am working as a business analyst in a startup for almost a year. It has been an exciting journey, and I've come across various problem statements in this journey. I extensively work on Excel and sometimes Data Studio. However, as I'm growing, I understand that I can find the solutions with more accuracy and understanding. How would you suggest? Should I go ahead with it? That's a long question. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. You are already working into business analyst, so you are already working with different kind of data sets, analyzing that in Excel or Data Studio or any other tool.
Mm,
The next step I would say is that go deep into the domain you are working into. Find out like problem statements which will improve the business. I'm not sure what kind of business you are into, but find out problems which would give you more, like your business would grow, let's say 2x or 3x because of that. So that's the, I would say, that's the next step you should work for, and then work backwards. Once you have found out the problem, then work for the solution of that from data.
mm. Okay. There is a question about, is career in analytics in danger due to chat GPT and AI?
Okay. uh, and I would say not for now.
Hmm?
And I don't foresee it for in the future as well. So chat
Okay.
GPT and AI, there has been a lot of buzz around it, like they will go for jobs, or any kind of they will kill the jobs, or like, but I honestly, you should treat ChatGPT as a tool, which is another tool into your toolbox,
Hmm.
and then it will help you a lot and across domains. So, for example, for programmers, it will help them debug their code or write the code efficiently, or let's say document their code, right? So given the you have written the code, you can document the code using chat gpt. The other would be like there can be many use cases of the chat gpt, so you should try to use those instead of analytics as a I would say career will not be endangered by endangered by chat gpt.
Mm.
It will just enhance the, or it will just make the analytics faster.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Since you said that business analysts advise upon all the business aspects for improvement, so do they also have to look into sectors like sales, marketing, finances, etc.? uh yeah, so how much of your domain knowledge, so like for example, you went into finance fully, so
Mhm.
you had to kind of do a lot of domain, I mean, research and understanding of that particular subject. So if somebody is in sales or marketing or any other field, do they have to do the same?
Right. This they have to do the same, and they
Okay.
can do it while they are on the job. So it can be an on-job learning.
Hmm.
Um, if they are into working, so business analyst working into some kind of marketing department, they are tagged with the marketing department. They will have
Hmm.
to work through the how the campaigns work. How do you measure the impact of the campaign? Whether you can measure the impact of the campaign by the data.
Hmm.
So same thing applies for sales. How do you
Hmm.
drive the sales, or which department or which geography the sales should focus on for next 2 months or next three
Okay.
months that will
Hmm.
give you maximum lift. Same is with finance. So all they need that deep knowledge of the domain to work with.
Okay. 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 Let's talk a little bit more about your profile again. So, you started with a startup, Easy Rewards, right? So, as a data scientist in a startup, vis-a-vis job maybe as a data scientist in one of the bigger brands like Mastercard or WorldQuant. I'm talking about the initial stages of your career. Would you say that it is better or for the learning curve uh, in a startup instead of starting off in a big company? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I would say that it really depends on the role that you
Hmm.
are hired for.
So
uh,
data scientist, I'm talking about like as a data scientist in a startup, a data scientist in a top
right.
firm, but also, of course, we are talking about from a fresher's point of view or maybe a year's experience, 1 year experience maybe. So from the learning point of view, is it better for them to start off here or start off there?
So there's I would say again, there's no right answer to this
Mm,
because it all depends on the department that you are tagged into. So
okay.
when I say that, because I have worked in multiple departments, for example, Mastercard or be it Goldman or WorldQuant,
Mm,
all these had started a new units. So it was like a startup within the bigger brand, right?
okay.
So all the learnings you would have in a startup or fast-paced environment, the
Mm,
same learnings can be there from the bigger brands as well. So it depends on which kind of department you are tagged into,
mm,
and in terms of particularly startups, I would say that a good startup which is good into the data science and working extensively with the data, that would be a best part. If the freshers or earlier like experienced candidates can go into there, they will
okay.
learn a lot. The learning curve would be much steeper
Mm.
vis-a-vis established company which is using data for many years.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You just mentioned that we should identify problems in your preferred domain and seek out data sets related to the same and work on them. Where can we find such data sets and problems? Any websites you can suggest? I think you had suggested one.
Yeah, Kaggle
Yeah.
is
Is there anything
kaggle.com is
else? Yeah.
Analytics Vidya,
Okay.
Hacker Rank, all these.
How much is coding involved in, how much of coding is involved in business analytics program? Or even, yeah, for data science courses? Yeah.
Uh, I would say that from the business analytics, coding is important, but treat that as a tool to get your final results. So
Mm,
all I would say is that do not be very intrigued by like I have to learn the coding, and if I don't know the coding, I'll not be able to do analytics. That is not there. Coding is just a tool to get to the final outcome. Um, with the chat gpt you can obviously get a lot more working codes and everything,
mm,
but you should uh, plug that plug that such that you get a business value out of it. So
mm,
all you need to do is like getting the business sense, getting the business impact is more important than learning coding.
mm,
Coding is important, but it again depends on your role. If you are into a strategic kind of role, you are making strategic decisions based on the data.
mm,
Obviously, you'll get a data analyst tag to you, and then you can infer the decisions based on that data. You'll not be working very extensively on the data, so you'll not be working with coding, like not daily on a day-to-day basis, but it again depends on your role. But if you are into a core data science kind of role or researcher kind of role, there you obviously need to learn about the coding.
okay. There's a question. This attendee, she's an MBA. Okay, my MBA in business analytics will begin from 2023 August. Bits Pilani. I have time of around 1 month. How can I utilize this time? I was doing an internship for the past 3 months, which was more in operations based, and I dealt with some amount of data on Excel, but I want to expand my knowledge with Python and Power BI tools. Please help me from a roadmap for the upcoming months to excel in business analytics field. In okay, yeah, Coursera and all that, yeah, certifications, whatever courses. Hmm.
Okay. um Yeah, so right now you're working in Power BI, right? So you
Hmm.
already dealing with the data part. Obviously, the next step for you is to learn the Python. That's you figured out.
Hmm.
To learn the Python, the smartest way is that you learn Python syntax or Python language from any open source or any kind of open Coursera course. Uh, but do not spend a lot of time in learning nuances of Python, but start working with data directly using Python. So once you have get hold of, let's say, Python language for a week or two, after that just switch to the data and work with the data part from Python. That is the best path for learning. So do not be become an expert in Python. Let's say you learn Python for 2 months and then you are working with the data, and then you say that okay, working with data with Python is very different from normal programming language. So that's
Hmm.
where you should work on. There are a lot of online certifications that you will help you. You already have data, so just try to apply that data from a business impact
Okay.
perspective.
Okay. How do they prepare for an interview if they have to sit for an interview for a business analytics role or a data science role? How do you prepare for an interview? What are the kind of questions they might be asked? Like, of course, it could be anything under the sun, but overall, if from a preparation point of view, is there anything in particular that they can keep in mind?
Um, it depends on the experience as well. So let's say
Hmm.
for the freshers or
Hmm. Yeah.
candidates with
Hmm.
1 or 2 year experience,
Hmm.
the interviewer will judge you on the your problem solving abilities. So
Okay.
they might give you some case study,
Okay.
and
Okay.
you'll have to design the problem
Hmm.
and then come up with the solution. Uh,
Hmm.
that's the hardest part to do in data science. So given a clean data set or anything you have, so you'll obviously get to the solution. So given you have defined the problem and you have come up with the solution,
Hmm.
that then coming with the code and everything, that is an easiest part. But given an open problem statement, like for example your sales is dropping or
Hmm.
you're not getting more conversions from your campaign, marketing campaigns. Those are open problems.
Mm.
And then these are the kind of questions you'll get into an interview, and then you'll have to dig deep into like how you can make utilize different kind of data sets, what kind of data sets are present, and how can you utilize those data sets to test your hypothesis.
Mm.
So that's the major skill people are looking for. All those come under problem solving abilities. Apart from that, some basic analytical abilities they would test on you. So
Okay.
CAT would definitely help in that.
Okay. I am a data engineer. I work on Informatica. How do I make a transition into data science?
Okay. From a data engineer perspective, I would say that the next career path from data engineer typically is to become a machine learning engineer, because you have
Okay.
already worked into a data engineering part. Now you can build or deploy the solutions, machine learning solutions on to the production. That's the next path, machine learning engineer. But if you want to really go into the data science kind of field, then obviously you'll have to work with a lot more data science related algorithms. You'll have to learn a lot more statistics.
Okay, let's talk about a little bit more about the challenges. So, from your own experience, like, what are the kind of challenges that you might face as a data scientist in any number of times in any company for that matter? But if you can just tell us what are the kind of challenges that one might face, and how did you, if you have had something like that, like one of those highlighted ones, how did you solve it?
Okay.
Mm.
The major challenge that I see across industry is that with data science, it's a hype that has been created around the data science,
Okay.
and people are seeing that as a very uh, new kind of technology, but it has been in existence for a lot many years, right? So people have been applying data science for a lot many years. Now the particular challenge I see is like, even if a simpler solution can work for a particular problem, people are still aligned that okay, this simple solutions we should not push for, we should go for data science or more advanced algorithms or more advanced solutions.
Mm.
That's where the like across industries, that's the what I see on a day-to-day basis, that people are inclined towards applying unnecessary, applying advanced solutions where the basic solutions can work. um, Having said that, on the other part is coming up with this basic solution is also very important from the data science, because what you are improving upon is that this basic solution already exists, but my data science algorithm or my data science capabilities improve upon this basic solution, and how much benefit you will get upon this basic solution. To give you a basic example, let's say you get a lot of you're working into some kind of BPO, you are getting a lot of many complaints. The basic solution would be to increase like number of agents who
Mm.
would like who would attend to your calls or emails or SMS. But that solution may work in many like industries if the volume of the calls is has not increased a lot, or with the volumes can be handled by the agents, right?
Okay.
uh, and then the advanced solution would be to come up with, let's say, interface like chat GPT, or to come up with interface automated voice kind of interface, where you would be dealing with, you are not worried about the whole many volume, but at the back end you are doing a lot many competition. Now here you have to do the cost benefit analysis, right? So what is the cost of hiring, let's say, 10 more agents and training them, vis-a-vis the cost of having more servers to have that data science solution implemented.
Right.
For smaller firms, it might not make sense to go into the data science part,
Mm.
but for the larger firms, it might make more sense to go to the full-fledged data science solution. So
Okay.
that's the particular thing you should always be aware of, like
Mm.
create a baseline for
Hmm.
your any kind of analysis, do a baseline kind analytics and say that this is my baseline and I am improving upon that. This is the status quo and I am improving upon that. I am giving value to you upon that.
Hmm.
The other challenge I see is in terms of inherent bias
Hmm.
into the models, the data
Hmm.
science models.
Hmm.
So there has been a lot many studies recently related to the bias or
Yeah.
uh,
Hmm.
ethic, uh, ethical aspects of the AI
Hmm.
models.
Hmm.
That is also important because ultimately what you give as a data, that's what
Hmm.
the algorithm would learn. It will not learn something different. So in terms of bias, if your data is dirty or if your data has inherent bias, then
Correct.
obviously the algorithm will also be biased. Or typical
Hmm.
examples I think in the industry we give is around the admissions probably to engineering colleges, let's say,
Hmm.
male and female bias. So there are more males in proportion
Hmm.
than the females, particularly into the engineering
Hmm.
domain. Now, if you give this kind of data and learn from this data, obviously the algorithm will also be biased towards
Okay.
male and rather than female. So there
Okay.
are studies going on how to remove that bias, how to do remove that bias from the algorithms. But this is another challenge. And before deploying a solution full-fledged into your main business stream, you
Hmm.
should test out these things, okay, and you should continuously monitor the results of the model.
Okay, there's this question again about what is the difference between a data scientist and a data engineer. You did say something, you were answering something on data engineering. Yeah. So can you just tell us, like?
Okay, so with the this data science field booming for, let's say, last 4 5 years, what people have realized is that you need specific data pipelines or technology related solutions for data, right?
Hmm.
Obviously the data scientist part is to work on a data, right, and create insights out of the data and create model out of that data.
Hmm.
But let's say in a company your data is also not flowing smoothly, or when you have built your model and it is giving you some prediction but you're not able to put it into production or into the business.
Hmm.
Now those skills are not those are mostly software engineer kind of skills, but those are related mostly to the data, and that's where this field came up, which is like data engineer.
Hmm.
So typical work for a data engineer would be that, let's say you are collating data from multiple streams. Your company is collating data from internet, your company is collating data from chats or anything. So you have to maintain all these data records, right? So
Okay.
that anyone can access those records at one place. That's the typical workflow of a data engineer. Then there's another term which has come up is, so data engineers would work towards like the data is coming properly, it is being able, anyone is able to access the data properly.
Hmm.
But then to come up the solution for putting the model into production, that's
Hmm.
where another term which is machine learning
Hmm.
engineer that I
Yeah.
mentioned
Hmm.
earlier, that also came up, which is like once your model is built, data scientist has done all their statistics analysis and said that these are the features you have to create. Now the machine learning engineers work is primarily involved to put that model into production. Now to
Hmm.
give you an example, for example, let's say you want to predict the limit that one should give to a credit card holder, right?
Yeah.
Whether it should be 1 lakh, 10 lakh, or 20 lakh.
Hmm.
Now it really depends on the kind of features you want to create for the customer. For example, how much they are spending in the last month, how much they have spent in last 15 days, what are the
Hmm.
other kind of loans they have taken. Now all these features have to be computed, right? It's not pre-computed. You'll obviously get the data from different sources. You'll get the
Hmm.
transactional data, you'll get some bureau data, but you need to compute these features. data scientist will tell that, okay, I need to create these features and these are the features that should go into the model. So
Okay.
this responsibility comes under machine learning scientist. He will take the data, he will say that, okay, these are the features that are required by the model. We will deploy in this fashion, and that's how the model would be deployed. And also the monitoring part of that model is also so that all the model results are logged in some way for the further analysis. That
Mm.
also responsibility comes for machine learning
Okay.
scientist.
Okay. Okay. If my statistics is not up to the mark, is there any scope for me to become a business analyst?
Okay.
Mm.
Statistics, you should definitely learn.
Mm.
It's a
And you can
it's a
also tell
core
us
skill.
the few core skills that you must have.
I would not say really good at it, but
Mm.
at least basic statistics. Like I've been talking over, I think,
Mm.
hypothesis testing and
Correct.
how do you do that hypothesis, create a hypothesis. So these
Mm.
come under basic statistics. So you should be
Okay.
aware of
Okay. Mm.
some statistics in terms of distributions or hypothesis testing.
Mm.
So these are the core skills that one should be aware of.
So one is
Uh,
statistics, the other thing in
Other
core
things is
skills.
problem solving abilities. Like
Mm.
you should be able to define the problems and come up with the solutions. That is another important skill. The third
Okay.
skill is coding, or basically basic coding into Python or any kind of statistical tool.
Okay.
uh, Visualization is as important as other things, so you should be
Mm.
able to visualize your data.
Mm.
It's a skill that is mostly undermined by a lot of people, but you should be aware of it, because
Okay.
ultimately you would be presenting to CXOs, right? So you
Mm.
should be good at visualizations. You cannot give them the Excel that, okay, these are the data
Mm.
points. You
Yeah.
should be able to visualize and
Extract whatever. Yeah.
extract. Yeah, it
Yeah.
should be
Okay.
able to do
Mm.
that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those are the core skills that I would
Mm.
say very important.
So, is there any other, apart from the visualization? I believe there you definitely need to be a little bit more creative and all that. But other than that, any soft skills required at all, or it's okay even if.
I would say that um, negotiation also comes a bit when you are negotiating with, let's say, CXOs and telling them that why your solution is better
Mm.
than that is already there. uh, you have to do that cost benefit analysis, give them
Okay.
strong numbers, and
Mm.
then get those skills in, like from the soft skills perspective. Communication skills are obviously important, because you have to ultimately, whatever you do at the back end,
Mm.
you have to show it in the front end. Obviously the content at the front, or when you present it to the CXOs, is very limited, but you have to make that more impactful.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So now tell me, in this field, there's a lot of change in the everything is constantly in flux, right? So how do you keep yourself updated, and how what are the suggestions for all those people who will be getting into this field after a year or so, or now? Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's a good question, right? So
Mm.
there's been a lot of changes into this domain over the
Mm.
past 4 5 years.
Mm.
Or something new research come up, something new always come up, and then everyone is inclined towards that. For example, right now, Chat GPT and large language models,
Mm.
all those are keywords. So in order to cope up with that, what you need to do is, like, once you are into this field, your work doesn't end here there. You always have to cope up with new trends, and you'll always have to, let's say, spare 3 or 4 hours a week for yourself to learn something which is very different from what you are working on a day-to-day basis. So that's what I do. So probably take a week on a weekends, just take around 2 3 hours and learn about trends in other domains, or how data science solutions are being applied into other domains. You can go with a lot many forums, or a lot many newsletters are floating around, but those are good source, so that, okay, you can skim through those and you can learn more about it. If there is something which you can apply the same knowledge into your domain, that you should do so.
All right. Okay. We are exactly, it's exactly 1 hour. And yeah, so that's all we have time for. So I would like to thank all the attendees. Thank you so much for all the questions. And thank you, Puneet, Vashisht. Thank you so much for all the insights that you've provided for
Thank
this
you.
session. Thanks.
Thank you.